Hey YouTube, it's Team Rocket. I just did this deck profile, and it didn't record, so I'm doing it again. This one's probably going to be a little faster because I'm a little irritated it didn't record the first time. But I'll give this deck to you guys anyway because I know it's been a while since we've done a video. And I'm doing this one a little bit differently. I'm going to do it traps first. I know people go monsters first, but I feel like most spell and trap lineups are pretty standard these days. So do this backwards. See if you can figure out what deck I'm playing by the time I get to the monsters. I mean, I don't have any warnings, so there's the spells and traps. I'll talk about these when we get to the rest of it. The spells are limited for a reason. And semi-limit, and then 3 Avarice. So if you're seeing 3 Avarice, you're like, oh, you're probably playing plants. Tengu. That's exactly right. That's what I'm doing. So basically this is all maxed out. There's not really any, you can't add another one of these cards. They're all maxed out. And there's not really anything I want to add. So that's pretty standard right there. Then the monsters, here we go. So 3 Tengus. So basically the Reborn Tengu, I mean, obviously it's a floater, it's a plus. This Synchro Summon shenanigans you pull off with this is ridiculous. You gotta watch out for a warning, so it's better as a first turn play. Just be safe. If you think they got a warning, do something else or set this or something, because if you get your first one warning, it totally sucks. But the games you can play with these in 3 Pot of Avarice are ridiculous. Konami's gonna fix that come September, so have your fun while you can. Play two tour guide. Basically just to get the Sengen. Play 2 of them just in case you draw the Sengen first. But with the Avarice, it's usually not a problem. You can use both of them in the same game. It's just good. It'll be even better when the Exceeds come out. If I end up using them in this deck, I might not. Just because there's so many different monster levels, they're not really consistent to make all the ranks and stuff. But we'll see when they come out. Debris Dragon. Get you. Save your ass, really. It's such a good card. Try to save these too. Don't just use them early for no reason. If you can save them longer, you can. It'll work better for you. Unless you have a lot of cards in the graveyard, or you really need to do it. I don't know. Avarice helps you out, I guess. But I try to hold on to them. 2 Lone Fire. There's the Plant Engine. The Synchro shenanigans with those, and then I also play 1 Titanial. Titanial's boss. This card against Samurai is really good. It's even better when people side in Rivalry, because if somebody sides in Rivalry against you, you are screwed. If you don't have an out to Rivalry, there's so many different kinds or different types in this deck. I think of the 22 different types you could have, this deck runs like 10 or 11 of them, and no more than like 6 of anything, and the 6th one being this, and it's a plant. But Titanial does work, especially since a lot of decks aren't running things that don't target. Most monster removal targets now, because Samurai aren't playing Dark Hole anymore. They rarely play Torrential, so I mean their outs to this are like Hand and maybe Synchros if they go that way, but they don't have very many outs to this. So Card Troopers, Floater, Mills, good card, especially with a Limit Reverse. That's always fun. Chain it to their MST, get your plus. 2 Raikou, just 2. I'm not playing Charge either, so don't want to mill all the Tengus before you get a chance to use them. 2 Raikou is good enough. One tip about Raikou: don't set it first turn. If you set a Raikou first turn, they're gonna have some answer to it, or they're gonna take it from you, or they're gonna, worst case, they're gonna summon a Tengu and attack your Raikou with it and get another one and attack you again, and you just wasted a Raikou. Don't play these first turn. 2 Valor. Drusilla sucks. That's why this is in here. Basically, actually 2 purposes this is in here. Drusilla and Kageki. Because if they do that to you like first or second turn, and I don't have warnings, this is the only way to protect myself. So play 2 of those. But also tuners, that's helpful sometimes, especially Debris Dragon. And then if you use Debris Dragon, you can use the Zephyros to get Valor back to your hand. There's some kind of fun antics there. So, Valors. Then the Zephyros, I was playing an Injection Fairy Lily in this deck spot, but I decided to give Zephyros a try. It's working out really well. It's the extra attack if you need it. And the other problem actually I had with this deck was I didn't have enough non-tuners. I felt like I always had a tuner and didn't have the non-tuners to make something with them. So if you have, this in the graveyard and a tuner in your hand, this becomes that non-tuner you were looking for. It's just like all the other graveyard recursion effects this deck has, Glow Up, Spore, and Plague Spreader. This is the non-tuner version of those. It's pretty good, and you can reuse your Call and Limit Reverse. So Plague Spreader, yeah, works well with Tengu. And then Gores. You gotta play Gores. I know you play Limit Reverse and Call, but you can bounce them with Trunade or Zephyros. They get Black Rose. Usually isn't a problem. Fun play also is Brionic to ditch, something you don't want in your hand, like a Dandelion or Spore, Glow Up, Plague Spreader, Zephyros, and you put the Call back in your hand, and you can use the Gores, next turn or whenever you need it, and it works really well against, once again, Samurai. It's a deck you got to beat this format, so Gores saves you against that. So that's the main deck. I would like to talk about the Injection Fairy Lily play a little bit. I know it seems like a random card. It hasn't been played in a long time. But with these in the main deck, especially when I was playing 2 of these because I took out the Solemn Judgment just for the life cost, problem. If you have Injection, you're going to mill it most of the time. If you are drawing it, it's because you searched it out with Sengin. You don't really ever draw it. So it's not a dead card, and it just helps because it's a debris target. And you can use it in conjunction with these to push for game. Like if you have a Tengu on the field, and you attack and deprison or something, bring out the other Tengu, attack, and then you can chain the Limit Reverse or the Call to bring out the Injection and get another 3,400 attack in there, and that wins games. So especially once they don't have a Battle Fader or Gores or anything like that, you can just tag that extra bit on. And Injection's a fun card because it's old. A lot of people haven't played against it in a while, and they don't understand how to get around it. So, for those of you who know, yeah, it's pretty easy to deal with the Injection, but a lot of people catches them off guard and they get flustered, can't handle it. So it's kind of a fun thing. If you do have the Solemn Warnings and Solemn Judgment, you're playing those, obviously Injection is not an option for you. But if you're one of us kids who's poor and you want to just, play a fun tech card, Injection was really fun for me. And the extra deck, this is pretty straightforward, but I'll go through it anyway. Maybe there's a little bit different. 2 formulas, just because sometimes you want to use 2 in the same turn. I know you use Avarice, but sometimes you do need the second one in the same turn. So both of those. Armory Arm. Obviously the Colossal OTK is long gone, and I don't play Colossal anyway, but this is just a Synchro Climb. If you have some tokens on the field and a Plague Spreader or something, you gotta work your way up to a bigger monster. You want to use that Sengin on the field, search for something, use the Armory Arm to get that done. We have the 5s, Canister, Android, card that should have never been printed, Librarian. This card's ridiculous. It just lets you do all the things that plants used to do, but now you get to draw like 3 cards that turn on top of it, so you're not, just totally overextending yourself. And you get to draw on your opponent's Secret Summons, so it's almost like a max C on legs. You can kind of slow your opponent down. Then you have the 6s, Gaia. Gaia's new to this deck. I didn't play it in my old Chaos Plants because you couldn't really make 6s, but with the Tengus, you make this a lot. Just a big beater, gets over Stardust and Xian. Debris Dragon support, Brionic, obvious. 1 Black Rose. I was playing 2, took the second one out for Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon is really good. You get those Ravines, Necro Valleys, and once again, Samurai, the deck to beat, you can just set this. If they have a Xian, you think they have a Magatama, or better yet, you know they have a Magatama, because they always do. If you just bring this out and sit on it in defense, it's basically a Spear Reaper. You just hide behind it, and they can't really do much. So don't neglect the 3,000 defense. That helps. Then you have Scrap Dragon, Stardust, Scrap Dragon, obviously with the Tengus, Sengin, all the tokens and the floaters. That's good. Stardust, obviously, and you can use the shenanigans with the Lone Fire Blossom and the Ball, Limit Reverse, and Reborn. Get this out. If you do invest the resources in a shooting star. Do not attack with it. You're going to get deprisoned, and you're just going to cry. So one thing, if you are going to go bring this out, you got to be conservative with it, unless you know the opponent's deck, or you better be sure they don't have a deprison, because that sucks. And then the last card, Trishula. If I had a second one, I probably wouldn't play it, actually, because I don't have space. Maybe the android's a spot that can come out, but with all the Tengus, you kind of need the 5s. And you don't make Trishula that often, and if you do, there's usually a pot of Avarice in between, so you just put it back. Bottomless doesn't really get a hold of this that often. People don't really play Bottomless, so just one works. That's pretty much it. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll try to get more videos up here. I know we always say that, and then we go, a month without doing it, but I really will try to get them up here. At least a tech update or something real quick. Maybe meta comments or something. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.